So the topic is like magnetic circuits. Okay, but first we'll see the difference between the electric circuit and the magnetic circuit. Okay, so first, what is the difference between the electric circuit and the magnetic circuit? Okay, what is the comparison and what is the analogy? What is the difference? We'll see one by one. Okay. So first, the electric circuit means what is the source of the electric circuit? Okay, you know the source of the electric circuit is voltage. Okay, the source of the electric circuit is voltage. Source voltage. Okay, voltage or EMF, electromotive force. Okay, electromotive force, voltage or EMF, electromotive force is the source. Okay, that is is the cause. Is the cause. Okay, then what is the unit of voltage or EMF? That is volt. Okay, that is volt. Then what is the source of the magnetic field? Okay, what is the source of the magnetic field? The source of the magnetic field is magnetomotive force. Okay, so MMF, here EMF, here we'll call it as MMF. MMF means magnetomotive force. Okay, magnetomotive force. Force is the cause. Okay, force is the cause. Okay, and then what is MMF? Actually, magnetomotive force means, okay, and generally we know that is like a current. Okay, see, because as the current flows on the conductor, then only the magnetic field will come. Okay, so the source here is like a current, here it is like a voltage or EMF, here it is like magnetomotive force, or it is a product of N into I. N means number of turns, okay, and I means current flowing in the turn. Okay, so this is again called as again unit of this one is like ampere turns. Okay, the unit of this one is ampere turn. Okay, so this is the voltage is the source of the electric circuit, whereas the current is the source of magnetic circuit. Again, instead of current, it is like how many rotation circles are there? It is like N into I. How many number of turns are there? Ni, or otherwise another name is magnetomotive force. Again, what is the result of electric circuit? Okay, because we are applying the voltage, finally the result of the voltage is like current. Okay, finally the current flows. Okay, so current is the effect here. Current is the effect. Okay, so voltage is the source, current is the effect. Again, here what is the effect? Okay, see, because some current is flowing on the conductor. Okay, so again magnetic field is produced. Okay, then again instead of magnetic field you can say like a magnetic flux. Okay, so when the current flows, the flux will be produced around the conductor. Okay, now here the result of the current in the magnetic circuit is like flux. Okay, flux is the effect. Okay, here the current is the effect, here flux is the effect. Okay, so what you should know, once for electric circuit, if you apply the voltage, you will get the current. For a magnetic circuit, if you apply the current, you'll get the flux. You'll get the flux. Okay, so again, what is the unit of current? Unit of current is ampere. Okay, what is the unit of flux? It is like Weber. Unit of flux is Weber. Flux density means Weber per meter square, but simply flux means unit is Weber. Okay, so again we'll extend the third point is, what is the next point? Okay, so again here you know Ohm's law is there in electric circuit. Ohm's law, again you know resistance is equal to V divided by I, where V is the source. Okay, V is the source. Okay, this is like source or cause. Okay, this is like a source, this is like the effect of the source. Okay, and again how much effect you are getting from the source depends on what is the opposition by the circuit, that is resistance. Okay, that is resistance. But you know what is the opposition, that R value depends on always rho L divided by A. Okay, rho is the resistivity of the material, L is the length of the material, A is the cross-sectional area of the material. Whereas in case of magnetic circuits, okay, again you can write them Ohm's law here. Okay, Ohm's law. This instead of R, will write a notation S. Okay, yes. Okay, now again V means EMF. Okay, V means EMF divided by the effect. Okay, EMF. Again, S means what? MMF. Okay, instead of electromotive force, this is like magnetomotive force. Again, what is the effect here? The effect here is flux. Okay, so flux pi. Okay, again, MMF can be written as Ni. Okay, Ni and divided by pi. Okay, divided by pi. This S is called as reluctance. Okay, here it is resistance. Here it is reluctance. Here it is reluctance. That means what? You are having N turns, I current is flowing, then what is the flux produced? Okay, sometimes the circuit may produce more flux, sometimes it may produce less flux. It all depends on the reluctance value. Okay, then reluctance is decided by what? Okay, the reluctance is decided by length. Okay, length. Again, instead of rho here, you'll get the permeability of the material. Okay, permeability of the material, and again cross section remains same. So S is equal to L divided by mu into A. S is equal to L divided by mu into A. This may looks new to you, but you can correlate from this. Okay, instead of rho in the upward, you are getting mu downwards. Again, L is same area, again same. Okay, now and again, what is the other formula we are having here? Okay, so the fourth one is electric field is voltage divided by distance. Okay, electric field means volt per meter. Okay, electric field means volt per meter. Similarly here magnetic field. Okay, here electric field, here magnetic field H, or magnetic field intensity H, is equal to mmf divided by length. Mmf, magnetomotive force, divided by length, that is Ni divided by L. Okay, so the unit is ampere turn per meter. Ampere turn per meter. Okay, so again the next point is related with the current density. Okay, so here you will get electric current density. Okay, so here electric current density. What is the electric current density? J is equal to I divided by A, that is ampere per meter square. Here electric current density, that is similar to one electric current density, is here magnetic flux density. Okay, so here magnetic flux density. Okay, magnetic flux density, again you know magnetic flux density B is equal to, again here I means effect. Okay, I means effect. So here what is the effect? Here the effect is flux. Okay, flux. Then again area remains same, flux per unit area. Okay, so that is like Weber per meter square. Weber per meter square. Again there is another formula, D is equal to epsilon E. Here uh, here B is equal to mu into H. Here B is equal to mu into H. Again, you know, whenever more than one resistance are there, Rs is equal to R1 plus R2. Okay, or otherwise RP. 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Similarly here, okay, here S in series is equal to S1 plus S2, and then S in parallel is equal to 1 by S1 plus 1 by S2. Okay, and what is the circuit model for electric circuit? Okay, so the circuit model here is say some resistance is there. If you apply the voltage, you are applying the voltage here, some current will flow. This is the circuit model, and again the conductor here made of copper or aluminum. Okay, copper or aluminum or silver. Okay, generally silver is a good conductor, but will not use silver because silver is costly. That's why mostly we'll use the next to silver, the good conductor is copper. Mostly we'll use copper, but sometimes we used to use aluminum also, because again there are another problems like a corrosion and everything. So when again either we are using open conductor with some shielding we are using, based on that again you may choose either copper or aluminum. Okay, so next here magnetic circuit means now the core will be there like this. It is like a magnetic material. Around the core the coil will be wounded. Around the core coil will be wounded like this. Okay, now the current is flowing, okay, in the coil. again it will produce the flux. Okay, it will produce the flux in the magnetic circuits, something like this, because once the current flows like this, then around the coil the current will be produced in the circular manner. Okay, this is like flux. Okay, it's like flux. Again, per given current, how much flux is producing, it all depends on the properties of the material. Okay, so and again, but you know one thing, when you increase the current, the flux will increase. Okay, when you increase, because they are directly proportional. See, similarly here, if you increase the voltage, the current will increase, but here also if you increase the current, the flux will increase. Okay, again here it is R. Okay, R is decided by the material type. Here also how much flux will be produced per amount of current, per ampere current, then that will be decided by the properties of the material. Okay, because either you can use iron or SiFe. So again, it depends on the material. Okay. So next, what are all the laws you can use here? You can use KVL. Okay, you can use KVL, and again KCL, voltage voltage divided rule. Okay, voltage divided rule. Okay, voltage divided rule. When elements are in series, you can apply the voltage division rule, and again parallel, for parallel combination also you can apply. Similarly here, instead of KVL you can apply K instead of V. Okay, V is the source. Here MMF is the source. You can apply K MMF law. Again here you can apply K CL, because instead of current, okay, here you will have flux, K flux law. Okay, again MMF also. Okay, so again voltage dividing rule. Again similarly MMF divided rule in series. Again in parallel you can apply all the laws similarly. Okay. So this is the some comparison between the electric circuit and the magnetic circuit. Now we'll travel only with the magnetic circuits. Okay, so slides have been misplaced. Okay. Okay. So next, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, already we have seen this Faraday's law in EMF itself. Anyway, again, once again, we will revise that. Okay, so what is Faraday's law? You know, whenever change in flux, whenever there is a time varying flux, then there will be the EMF. Okay, so the main idea of Faraday's law is time varying flux. Time varying flux around the conductor will give EMF. Okay, will give EMF. This is again concept for generator, because when generator is rotating, you will get the EMF. If the generator is not rotating, you will not get the EMF. Okay, so again, this law is basic for the generator and the transformer and all. Okay, so what is that law is telling? There are two statements. Okay, to produce EMF, we need time varying flux. Okay, so what they are telling, there should be change in flux. There should be change in flux linkage, flux linkage with the coil, in order to induce EMF in it. Okay, in order to induce, okay, EMF in it. Okay, so there are two ways to change the flux. Either you can physically vary the magnet, or either you can physically vary your coil. Okay, there are two ways, because in both the cases you will get the time varying flux. That also we have demonstrated with a simulation. Okay, so already, and again based on that, whether your magnet is static or not. If your magnet is static, if you are varying your coil, okay, if you are moving your coil, or in another manner, if your magnet is moving, then based on that we will classify either that is dynamically induced EMF or statically induced EMF. Okay, so that is the classification. Again, what is another statement for Faraday's law? Again, the magnitude of EMF, okay, the EMF will be induced. Again, the EMF will be induced depends on the rate of change of flux. More the change, more the flux. Okay, more the change in the flux, more will be the EMF. Okay, so the magnitude of induced EMF, magnitude of induced EMF is proportional to the rate of change of flux, is proportional to rate of change of flux, that is right. So again, E is equal to minus d psi divided by dt. Okay, d psi is the total flux, change in the total flux with respect to time. Okay, so change in the flux, total flux means flux in one turn multiplied with the number of turns, because there are n turns. Okay, so n pi is the total flux, that is psi, divided by dt. Okay, this n you can take outside, d pi divided by dt. Again, you know, this is d pi by dt means rate of change of flux. Okay, rate of change of flux. Again, n means number of turn. Okay, number of turn. Again, this is from Lenz law. This minus is from the Lenz law. Okay, so again, there are two types of EMF. One is dynamically induced EMF. Okay, EMF can be classified like dynamically induced, dynamic. Again, this principle will be used in static also. The dynamic means the example is generator, because physically something will be moving there inside the generator. Something will be moving, either coil may be moving or the magnet may be moving. Okay, so that's why that is dynamically generated EMF. But if you see the transformer and all, there also Faraday's law is used. Okay, but in transformer nothing is moving. Okay, in transformer nothing is moving, but somehow we are creating the time varying flux, because current can produce the magnetic field. Okay, if it is DC, it produces the magnetic field, simple magnetic field. But if it is AC, then it produces the time varying magnetic field. Okay, so the AC current can produce time varying magnetic field. Okay, so DC current simply will produce the magnetic field, whereas the AC current will produce the time varying magnetic field. That's why the transformer will be used only in AC. Okay, the transformer will work only in AC. Okay, the transformer will not work for DC. Okay, never apply DC to the transformer. Okay, so the best example for static EMF is transformer, the dynamic EMF is generator. Okay, now you got some understanding what is the electromagnetic induction, because time varying flux gives the electromotive force. It's like a current. Okay, so and again, you know, flux is always the function of current. Okay, flux is function of current. Okay, flux is function of current. That means what? Okay, see, some conductor is there. Okay, some current is flowing in the conductor. Okay, again, around the conductor there will be the magnetic field, then flux is there. More the current, more the flux. Okay, so whenever you apply the current to the conductor, magnetic field will be there. That means flux will be there. But if you increase the current, then flux will increase. Okay, so what is the idea they are telling? When you increase the current, the flux will increase. But suppose if you decrease the current, the flux will decrease. If you decrease the current, then the flux will decrease. That means what? The flux and current is directly proportional. Okay, the flux and current is directly proportional. Okay, so suppose if you are having coil, okay, n number of coils, okay, then what is the magnetomotive force? Okay, the magnetomotive force is like Ni. Okay, effectively you are having Ni. This is the total current that you are applying, because you are having n turns. Then what is the flux produced due to this? Okay, what is the flux produced? Okay, the flux produced depends on two things, because if you observe the formula of MMF very carefully, okay, see, we have written one formula here. Please note down this. S is equal to MMF divided by pi. Okay, S is equal to MMF divided by pi. S is equal to MMF divided by pi. Okay, that means I need MMF, then S into pi. Okay, so I can write this as S into pi. So Ni is equal to S into pi. Okay, so pi divided by I. Okay, pi divided by I can write like N divided by S. Okay, that means what? This is my source. Okay, this is my source. This is my effect. Okay, once if I provide some current, then I will get the flux. That's okay. But if I increase the current, the flux also will increase. Okay, if I decrease the current, the flux also will decrease. then here something is there. Okay, that means what? Ultimately, my flux depends on N by S times of I. Okay, so once if I increase the current, my flux will increase. Then what is this N by S? Who will decide this N by S? That N by S will be decided by the material. Anyway, N means number of turns, that's okay. S means S depends on the material. Okay, which type of material you are using. Okay, because we have seen what is the value of S. Okay, so S means what? S is equal to L divided by mu into A. Okay, so the S will be divided by the type of material, because for different material you will have different mu. Okay, again dimensions of the material. Okay, so again what I am telling, with some current you can get more flux also. It depends on whom, it depends on the material, which type of material you are using. Okay, so that is the idea. So when you increase the current, the flux will increase, but it also depends on the material. But once if you fix the material, your flux finally depends on only current. But if you change the material, then this also will change. Okay, that you have to understand. Okay, so finally the effect divided by the source, phi divided by I is equal to N by S. Okay, so this we'll call it as some new constant, that is K, but please remember K depends on N as well as the dimensions of the material, So ultimately pi is equal to K into I. Okay, pi is equal to K into I, but ultimately you should know this. Okay, so pi is directly proportional to I. Okay, once if you increase the current, the flux will increase. That idea you should have in your mind. Okay, so okay. So again, next we'll see the concept of self-induced EMF and self-inductance. Okay, so whenever the current flows on the inductor, what happens actually? Okay, so concept of self-induced EMF and self-inductance. Okay, so actually the aim of the inductor is, once if you pass the current through the inductor, that will produce the flux. Okay, how much flux it is producing? Okay, if it produces the more flux, then it is having more inductance value. Say for example, I am sending 5 ampere current to a particular inductor. Okay, L1. Suppose it produces flux of 100. Okay, suppose the same current I am sending to another, again the same current I am sending to another inductor, but it is producing very high flux, 500 flux if it is producing, Weber of flux if it is producing, then L2 is greater than L1. Then what is the meaning of this one? L2 is greater than L1. But I can also get this one, but because with L1 also I can get 500, but what I have to do, I have to increase my current. Okay, once if I increase my current to 25 amperes, if I use same inductor, then also I will get 500 flux. Okay, so you have to understand it properly. The current and flux are directly proportional. And also, what is the role of L? What is the role of L? So role of L is equal to I divided by phi divided by I. Okay, L means what? Simply phi divided by I. If you are using n turns, then it is like n pi divided by I. Okay, or simply you remember L is equal to pi divided by I. Okay, so what is the idea? Suppose the for inductor, if the inductor value has to be I, then what should happen? For less current, it should produce more flux. Okay, so you'll get L as more. When you will get, you decrease the current, then also it should give more flux. Okay, so that's why L is equal to always pi by I, because if you increase this will increase, then what is the effect? No effect is there. Okay, so that's why the definition is like this. Okay, what is the inductor value? Total flux divided by current. Okay, what is the current you are giving? What is the total flux the inductor is producing? What is the total flux the inductor is producing? Okay, so that is the formula of the flux. Okay, so very clearly this is n phi divided by I. Okay, you are giving I current, then finally how much flux, total flux it is producing? Okay, that is n pi. So finally if you derive, then L is equal to n pi divided by I. Okay, so now just we'll derive the inductance value. Battery is there, again inductor, voltage is there, some current is flowing. Okay, so once the current flows, then around the inductor there will be the flux like this. Okay, around the inductor the flux will be like this. Okay, so suppose flux is equal to flux. Okay, if I multiply by I and divide by I, Okay, now I differentiate this d pi divided by dt, then phi by I di by dt, di by dt. So again, what it is indicating, because if you change the current, then flux also will change. That is the idea. Okay, so with some constant is there, no problem. So what is the observation here? If you change the current, the flux will change, because current is the source, flux is the effect. Okay, if you change the current, okay, then flux will change with respect to some constant. Okay, then again, you know, from the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, okay, the EMF induced is what? The generally the EMF induced is equal to minus n d pi by dt. Okay, so what is E? E is equal to minus n d pi by dt, minus n d pi by dt. Okay, just you take the formula, then I will tell you what is actually happening here, because already you are applying some voltage, current is flowing, then time varying current is flowing. Okay, then time varying current will produce time varying flux, time varying flux will produce EMF, that EMF value is E. Then what will be the direction of that EMF, whether that EMF will be like this or whether that EMF will be like this, that also you should know finally. Okay, we'll see. First we'll take the formula, we'll proceed. Okay, E is equal to minus n d pi by dt. Okay, then you know what is d pi by dt, just to substitute that value. Okay, minus d pi by dt can be replaced by this one. Okay, n pi divided by I di divided by dt. Okay, and this induced EMF depends on n pi divided by I. This constant I will take. Okay, this n pi divided by I will take like L. Okay, some constant. Okay, so why I am taking it as L, because just now we have seen what is the properties of L. You are applying I current, it produces n pi, then output divided by input, it is like inductor. Okay, so for I current, how much flux it is producing, that is the ability of the inductor. Okay, if its value is more, it will produce more flux for a given current. If its value is less, it will produce less flux for a given current. Okay, so very precisely, what is the value of, what is the definition of inductor? Okay, the flux produced per ampere current. Okay, that is the definition of the inductor, very simply. Total flux produced per ampere current. Okay, so that is the flux. Okay, so what is inductor? What is the inductor definition? Total flux produced per ampere current. Total flux produced per ampere current. Okay, what is the ability of the inductor? How much flux it produced per ampere, then that is the inductance, that is its inductance value per ampere current. Okay, so the total flux produced per ampere current, that is the inductor value. So I can replace this n pi divided by I with L. Okay, now your E is equal to L di by dt. Again, we do not know what is di by dt. It could be either positive or negative. Okay, for a clarity, okay, you assume that your voltage is increasing. Okay, if it is increasing like this, definitely this di by dt is positive. Okay, you are applying some voltage. If your voltage is increasing, this di by dt is positive. Then if it is positive, finally your EMF is negative. Okay, finally your EMF is negative. Then what is the relation of this E with this V? Okay, so the V that you are having here and E that you are producing, both they will be in an opposite way. Okay, why you will understand after some time. So again, if you take like this, okay, the EMF induced in an opposite manner to the V, that is the idea. Okay, so for example, what I am telling, if your voltage is like this, the EMF will be induced like this. Okay, so again, they are like opposite to each other. V is equal to minus E. Okay, so once if this is the case, if V is minus E, then again instead of E you can put V. Okay, so V is equal to L di by dt. Okay, that is our regular formula. Okay, V is equal to L di by dt is the regular formula. When you apply some voltage across the inductor, you take the inductor. When you apply the some voltage across the inductor, then again the current flowing here is I, then the relation between the current and voltage is this one, V is equal to L di by dt. Okay, so finally what is the inductance value? Inductance value is total flux divided by current applied. Okay, total flux we can write like the psi divided by I. Okay, so again what is E? Okay, we can also define in some other manner, because E is equal to minus L di divided by dt. Di divided by dt, that means minus L. What is the final current? Okay, final current in the inductor. What is the initial current in the inductor? Initial current. And again, what is the time change? Okay, what is the time between these two? Okay, like this also you can write. Okay, so finally psi is equal to what? Okay, so from this equation, if you observe from this equation, L is equal to n pi by I, psi by I. So finally you got one equation, L is equal to psi divided by I. Okay, so L is equal to psi divided by I, or psi is equal to L into I. Okay, L into I. It is something similar to V is equal to IR formula, something like Ohm's law. Okay, so here the Ohm's law is like this. Okay, now this psi is equal to Li is like Ohm's law for inductor. Okay, so this is the Ohm's law for inductor. Psi is equal to Li. Okay, see, it is something similar to Q is equal to CV. Okay, for capacitor also you are having one equation, Q is equal to CV, but we'll use that equation more often, but rarely we'll use this. But please try to remember this. Okay, so psi is equal to L into I. Again, one thing is clear here. The total flux produced depends on two things. Okay, it depends on L also. If your inductor value is very, very high, even if your current is less, then it can produce more flux. Or otherwise, okay, for a given inductor, if your current is high, then also you can produce more flux. Okay, so that only it is resembling. You can increase the flux either by increasing the value of inductor, or either by increasing the value of the current. Okay, so that only I have shown here. Okay, you take once, if you understand this, then you can understand that. Okay, so you can increase the flux in two ways. Either you can increase the value of the inductor, or you can increase the value of your current. So that means final flux depends on, final total flux depends on inductor value and a current value. Okay, so here there is no doubt. Okay, so this is your final answer. Okay, psi is equal to L into I. Okay, so you should know this. Okay, you have to remember. Okay, so next, again, what is the MMF? Okay, okay, so again we have to find out what is the value of L. Okay, so far we are telling L, then L depends on whom? Because L depends on the material, type of material. Okay, we'll just try to direct. Okay, so MMF, magnetomotive force, is equal to pi into S. Okay, already we have derived it. Okay, already it is there. MMF means Ni, this is pi S. Okay, again I you can replace by N pi. Okay, what is the value of I? Okay, so from this, okay, from this I can be replaced by N pi divided by L. Okay, so if you write that, this is N pi divided by L, this is pi into Z, N square divided by L is equal to S. Okay, so what is your S? S is equal to, and again, please wait a bit, this is okay. Then what is the other relation that we are having? We know S is equal to L divided by mu into A. Okay, so L is equal to N square divided by, L is equal to N square divided by S. Okay, so N square L mu A. Okay, L mu A. Again, mu N square A divided by L. Okay, this formula only already we have derived. Okay, what is the value of inductor? Mu N square A divided by L Henry. Already we have derived it, but already we know this formula. Okay, in EMF we have directly used it, this formula. Now we are having some derivation here. Okay, you should also know this formula. What is the value of inductor? The value of the inductor is decided by the mu, permeability of the material. How many turns are there? What is the cross sectional area? What is the length? Okay. Okay. So with this I will stop. Okay, if you have any doubt you can ask. again we have already discussed about